Citizens wishing to be heard at this time. And thank you,
George Boston Ryan, George Boston Ryan, 504 Drive, Valdosta, Georgia. I have some items I want to address, but the couple that just stood before you, they didn't think that sticking around was serving a purpose. And I figured they was leaving, so I caught them. They came back, and they wanted to talk to you. And I want to say at this juncture, just to hate what I got here. This is why sometimes we make policies at council meetings and board of commissioner meetings, and it's not so conducive to the citizens. Now, there are other people, I'm sure, that have the same problem with that as they do. And I go across the state of Georgia, 18 cities. And when a citizen stands to talk, as I'm talking now, the local newspapers in most all of those cities take citizens to be heard issues, and they publish them in the paper. What does that mean? That means the people that live in that city know the problems that other citizens are having. So it broadens the respect of our government. It proves that Georgia is an open government. And so I would love, I know you all can't go against your child from your ordinance because you already made it. You can't respond to her. But just imagine how many other people feel just like this couple or here. But they won't get to hear, per se, the problem because it wasn't done publicly. And that's why I wish that somebody could be elected on city council that will understand that citizens want to be listened to when they bring a complaint up like these elderly couples here. Now, as I said, I go to 18 cities all across the state. And I'm controversial, but I've got some things done. And that just food for thought. I'm sitting here and I'm listening. I said, now these are elderly people, and they going home. I caught them in the elevator, and I'm trying to convince them to come back, Mr. Mayor, because I know you will talk to them, because I've seen them. And so I want to catch them. And to hate what I got here, I hope I serve some type of person today. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Thank you. Slightly dispute Mr. RHYNES. I'm going to directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple, because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government, and see our department heads and our city manager and our assistant city manager go directly to those complainants and that process of the citizens to be heard and speak directly to them about that problem. That problem can't always be solved, but they're getting a direct response, an immediate response. I'll see it in the parking lot, but most of the time I see it right here, getting that face-to-face time. So that is something that has been just one of my favorites for 4 years. The second is a letter. I'm going to ask that the Reverend G.B.R. can lead us in prayer, and then please remain standing for the pledge.
Let us bow our heads. Eternal merciful God, we uplift this community in thy name in this nation. Let us repeat the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That portion of the evening, we're going to move on to the citizens to be heard portion. We ask that you come forward and state your name and address so we can have it for the record. Our policy requires you stay under 3 minutes so that others have time to be heard, and please direct all comments to council as a whole. Not attempt to engage individual members of council in debate. It's our policy to follow through with you on your concern almost immediately. We ask any groups that want to address the council to designate one spokesperson, so again, to ensure that all have time to be heard.
She has a problem.
Having said that,
She has a problem here. Here for her.
all right, our first citizen.
Good evening, my name is Velma Sykes, and I live in District 1, and on July 10th, we got a notice that the bridge on Lake Palm Road will be taken out starting the 10th of July and completed by the 13th of August, if weather permitted. Well, on July 10th, they tore up the bridge. We didn't see anybody for another 2 weeks. Then there was a big crane there, stayed there about 30 minutes. Then we didn't see anybody yet. They would come down there and stay an hour or less and go back. And I asked you, how much time you think they spent down there? Not even a day. I go down there and watch it. I live, my driveway is 126 steps to the road. I go down there 3 or 4 times a day, check it to see if they're working. If I can't see that well, I get in my car and go around on the other side. They have not done anything. I've been there 54 years and I have a vested interest in this neighborhood. And I'd like for somebody to tell us when they plan to complete this, even though this could be considered a contract that ended the 13th, and I'm sure that you have a contract, and Roundtree is not doing their job. And we are sick and tired of them giving us excuse after excuse. When you call up, they can't measure the pipe right, or the weather. They weren't coming there before the weather. Now, we're not talking about the Brooklyn Bridge here. We're talking about a 2-lane road. And we don't understand why they can't get this done. We'd like somebody to tell us what is going on and when they plan to finish that bridge. We have to go this way, that way, go from your house, you have to leave from 15, 20 minutes to get where you want to go. And then when you get there, you're dizzy because you've been driving here. It's so disrespectful for that neighborhood. We keep our neighborhood clean, we keep crime down, and we deserve better from the city.
Ms. Sykes, if you'll hang around after the meeting, I'll let people approach you about that.
Can I say something? So about 2 minutes, it won't take but a minute.
Hey,
Okay, that's fine.
sure, reset, come on.
Okay. They told us it's gonna be ready by the 15th, school start. I go down there and talk to them, everybody might work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they never work Mondays and Fridays, after they got the bridge torn up. And it's been going on now. One of the fellows that was supposed to be here tonight, he said, well, it might be December when we finish. I'm like, what? Oh, none of y'all knew about the bridges out? I mean, I've been living there, not as long as she had, but I've been there since '77. That's my two.
We'll approach you after. Thank you. And sorry. Citizens wishing to be heard at this time. And thank you,
George Boston Ryan, 504 Drive, Valdosta, Georgia. I have some items I want to address, but the couple that just stood before you, they didn't think that sticking around was serving a purpose. And I figured they was leaving, so I caught them. They came back, and they wanted to talk to you. And I want to say at this juncture, just to heck with what I got here. This is why sometimes we make policies at council meetings and board of commissioners meetings, and it's not so conducive to the citizens. Now, there are other people, I'm sure, that have the same problem with that as they do. And I go across the state of Georgia, 18 cities. And when a citizen stands to talk, as I'm talking now, the local newspapers in most all of those cities take citizens to be heard issues, and they publish them in the paper. What does that mean? That means the people that live in that city know the problems that other citizens are having. So it broadens the respect of our government. It proves that Georgia is an open government. And so I would love, I know you all can't go against your child from your ordinance because you already made it. You can't respond to her. But just imagine how many other people feel just like this guy or here. But they won't get to hear, per se, the problem because it wasn't done publicly. And that's why I wish that somebody could be elected on city council that will understand that citizens want to be listened to when they bring a complaint up like these elderly couples here. Now, as I said, I go to 18 cities all across the state. And I'm controversial, but I've got some things done. And that just food for thought. I'm sitting here and I'm listening. I said, now these are elderly people, and they going home. I caught them in the elevator, and I'm trying to convince them to come back, Mr. Mayor, because I know you will talk to them, because I've seen that. And so I want to catch them. And to hate what I got here, I hope I serve some type of person today. Thank you.
Thank you, George. I slightly dispute Mr. RHYNES. I would directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple, because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government, and see our department heads and our city manager and our assistant city manager go directly to those complainants and that process of the citizens be heard and speak directly to them about that problem. That problem can't always be solved, but they're getting a direct response, an immediate response. I'll see it in the parking lot, but most of the time I see them right here, getting that face-to-face time. So that is something that has been just one of my favorites for 4 years. Second is a letter. Are there any other citizens to be heard at this time?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Pastor Darren Neal, pastor of Christ Gospel Missionary Baptist Church, 1402 East Hill Avenue, president of NAACP. The reason I'm here tonight is exactly what Reverend Robinson and RHYNES spoke about. It's not that monies are coming down the line, they're monies that are here. President Biden has done a great deal of work to bring the underserved, the underprivileged, those people that have been forgotten about, to parity and to equity. One of the things he did with the American Rescue Plan was outline funding that should be given specifically to these people. This money that has come here to the city of Valdosta is to be used to help the underserved, to build up the infrastructure in those areas that are dilapidated, worn down. And one of the things that raised my eyebrow, and this is not directed to Mr. Barber and the Native Rain and Native Life, but we sat with John Ossoff, and when John Ossoff stated the number of monies that was coming down the line, I heard the city manager say, hey, I've already got something to do with that money. Well, that money has specifications attached to it. We cannot use that money to supplement our budget or, let's say, supplant. This city has a budget already that's in place. That budget is designed to keep us running. this money that's being sent is to help those people in these areas, especially in these census tract areas, in which money just never seems to reach it. We have a history here in Valdosta of overlooking the poor and impoverished. We must admit that. There's no mental health treatment here for people who are on the street corners. We're taking them to county line to county lines. We have children that are homeless right now. They're living in hotels, they're living in cars that we have just simply overlooked. There are roads in certain sections of town. I've been here 15, 16 years. And I'll be honest with you, I'm very passionate about this. I don't have to stay here any longer. I got all the training in the world to go anywhere I want to go. Go to any city in the world. I came here because the job brought me here. But after I saw the need of the people, I decided to stay and fight. And I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to be watching. We do have oversight committees. John Ossoff and his team is working with us specifically to make sure these monies go where they are. Biden and John Ossoff, Raphael Warnock specifically spoke of how they they circumvented the middleman. So the money can come from the federal government directly to the city governments. But that's where the problem occurs. Because in the 16 years I've been here, monies have come down to help the underserved, and it just sits there. And it either disappears or somehow magically is reallocated somewhere else to be used somewhere else. I've seen monies that were set aside as I go and read these budgets that were set aside in underserved communities just to fix the roads. And then we look up, may I have just maybe a minute or so?
You have the additional minute that they are.
Then I see that these monies were collectively pushed towards Woodrow Wilson. You ride through town and there's a bump. In the 16 years I've been here, I can tell you what every bump is in impoverished neighborhoods. Nothing gets done. This is an opportunity now where I heard the word inclusion used tonight. We're all Valdostans. This money here is now set aside to bring people who never ever seem to get looked at up to speed. Bringing folks that don't ever get the funding they need will help boost this economy, generate money for us so we can all survive. If we were like India right now, India is in a situation where COVID is hitting so bad that 10,000 people died in one day. They don't even have room to put people in hospitals. They're keeping them in ambulances and bodies are stacked outside. Can we say that it won't happen to Valdosta? And guess what? It wouldn't matter your color. If that happened to us, one day we're going to be put in a situation where I'm going to have to serve you, you're going to have to serve me, and color, race, creed, nationality ain't going to matter. It's just the love of God. That money now.
Time's up. We're here loud and clear, but your time's up.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Time's up.
My time's up, and I have a question.
We'll follow up with you after the meeting.
Well, Mr. Mayor, you're a very hard person to follow up. That's the reason why we filed a complaint against you, because we keep asking to speak to you. I don't have faith that you will talk to me. You are the mayor of Valdosta, and we filed a complaint against you because we keep asking to talk to you, and you ignore us. So I find it hard to believe that you will speak to us.
Please sit down.
I want to put you on notice that I'm going to speak
Please
civilly.
whatever you want.
I'm
Please
going
sit
to
down.
speak civilly for the things that the state your seat to be removed, the committee you selected that exonerated you. I'm going to see you civilly. You stated that you said that I paid people to vote, and I did. And I'm angry. Very angry.
Any other citizens wishing to be heard this time? You get an extra minute.
So all these other people can just talk until they're done, and we can't? Aren't we citizens of Valdosta?
We'll now move on to the city manager's report. Mark Barber. Please issue the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. My comments will be brief. This afternoon, this week, food truck, first thing sort of food truck Thursday will be next Thursday from 5 to 8:30. But as you're aware, if you've seen around town, we do have some filming crews in town.
Thank you. We're up. Robson, what do you think about your presentation? How was it accepted? And what do you think about tonight's meeting?
Well, the main thing is that they would put on notice that an action is going to occur here, and they can take it lightly if they like, if they want to, but it's something they better not take lightly because we will be going to federal court.
What do you think about the mayor not seeming to give a few minutes?
That was unfair.
It was unfair?
It was totally unfair. Totally unfair. And they know it's unfair. You know, and it's a violation of our rights, a violation of your rights when they cut you down because you like the freedom of speech.
Well, one other thing, with all the black councilmen, do you think they should have stood up for us? When I say us, the right to speak, because I've gone to other cities and the council will say, give him 3 minutes. But I didn't see that tonight. So it seems to me that Valdosta is a little different from other cities that I've interviewed elected officials at.
Well, let me explain something to you. See, when things are situated the way it is here, you can expect anything, man. It's nothing right here, none whatsoever. And I'm gonna close with saying that maybe perhaps when we get done, there will be some changes here, but we are going to go all the way with this.
Okay, thank you very much.
You all gonna sneak by you here and put these up.
Yeah, bring that for me. You want to say a few words?
Yeah.
You want to do it in here?
We're doing that.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, we're doing it here.
Pastor Neal. What? Okay. Pastor Neal, what do you think about tonight's meeting, and why are you so compassionate about your points that you was trying to make, and in addition that the mayor's not granting a few minutes? I go to other cities across the state and they give people additional minutes, and mostly it's the councilmen that stand up and grant that. They ask in the council, say, yes, we want to give 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They didn't do that here tonight. Why do you think this council is different from other councils?
Well, I think that this council is not willing to hear the people. 3 minutes is not enough to state your claim. We've listened to an hour-and-a-half long meeting in which 4 people were given 12 total minutes with additional 3 minutes. We're talking at least 15 to 17 minutes that was given to 4 people, citizens that just had something to say. The entire night was given to me, an agenda that was already set in place, that it planned to go down just like it went down, a cookie cutter type meeting in which no one is supposed to oppose. I'm here tonight and I'm very passionate about this issue because Joe Biden, Senator John Ossoff, Senator Raphael Warnock, they have made sure that monies would go out to people that are underserved, that have been disenfranchised, folk that have been hurt, the American, or those people that the American dream, this alleged American dream, seems to bypass. This is an opportunity now. The door is wide open, and if we don't walk through it, we'll never get through it. The door's open now where funding can take people who've never been able to receive that dream, that they can get it now. And I'm here to make sure that that money goes where it's supposed to. There are people in our city government right now, let's say specifically the city manager, who has the opportunity to place these monies in different places, and I understand it to be differently. I see that he has an agenda to place money to supplement a budget that's already in place and to place monies where typically they shouldn't go. This city has already budgeted for the different things that they're trying to do. Maintaining our infrastructure in these census tract areas, these impoverished areas, is very important. Bringing these people these small businesses that have been pushed aside, that money's there for them. Families that are living in cars, families that are living in hotels. We have children that are homeless. This shouldn't be in a system in which we just built an $86 million high school but can't take a child that's living in a car and they know about it. That's wrong. It's no other way to say it but wrong. And this money is brought to bring those people out of those holes. And if we do not do that, then we're not the government or the city we say that we are.
Pastor Neal, in addition to being pastor, what other title do you carry here in the city?
I'm the president of the NAACP, the Lowndes County chapter of the NAACP.
Okay, now, I stated when I was up, and I just want you to give me your opinion. The issue that are addressed here tonight in Valdosta is in Waycross, it's across the state of Georgia, it's across the nation. This is nothing that anybody's asking locally for. It is a national and federal movement. Am I right?
That's correct. There are cities, there are city governments that are standing up everywhere. We, the people, have reached a point where we're fed up. We're tired of being overlooked. We're tired of being underserved. We're tired of the promises that are broken. There's money in place right now, not yesterday, not coming. There's money in place right now that could help people in a very, very, very mighty way. If we do not take advantage of that, we're going to see the same old status quo occur where money's come down the line and they're never used where they're supposed to be. Some executive order, some executive decisions done, and money's never reached the black community.
And that includes CDBG grants as well?
CDBG. Joe Biden, in his American Rescue Plan, specifically spelled out 4 groups of people, not just minorities. He spelled out black people, Latino, American Indian, and Asian, that these 4 groups have been underserved across the United States, not just this year, not last year, but for decades, for centuries, we've been overlooked, and we built this country. Joe Biden has changed his position, the position he held some 40 years ago. He's changed his position. He has redeemed himself. He now wants to go backward and correct those mistakes and make sure the people, he has identified that the people of this country that I just named have been overlooked. It's something that we ignore. We pretend racism doesn't exist, but there are black people being shot by the police every day, and every day there's an excuse as to why these people are being shot. There are people right now that are homeless, that people are overlooked. It took Flint, Michigan years to get fresh drinking water. Why? There are people in Florida that suffered a hurricane 3 years ago that are still homeless and don't have. When do we as a people correct these mistakes? We've been given money, free money, to correct these things, to build and an inclusive city. Why don't we take advantage of it? This is not the time to do the status quo.
Okay, in closing, do you give me permission to publish this to the general public where other news media may not publish this?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind me publishing it?
No.
So the people in Valdosta will be educated, because education is the weapon,
yes.
Drugs are the enemy.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Mr. RHYNES, I would directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple, because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government and see our department head.
Greetings. Once again, this is the Get To Free Press, George Boston RHYNES, and on March the 29th, 2019, there was a white man found dead here on Woodland Lane, south side, off of Forest Street, in this hedge of bushes with 2 trees. And we reported this. I don't know if your local mainstream news media ever reported it. And I talked about how the young man's hair had come off on the mattress inside of this little hedgery right here. And I notified an elected official here in the city of Valdosta. We're going to go in and see if the elected officials in Valdosta and Lowndes County respond to the taxpayers and to the general public when they highlight problems in the community. Once again, let's go in and let's see if anybody have done anything to clean up this. Well, we'll do it again. Today, by the way, is May the 14th, 2019. And I was called to this area on March the 29th. And at that time, a body was found on a mattress. The hair was still on the mattress after they removed the body. I don't know if the citizens of Valdosta was ever informed about this, but if you would check my YouTube channel on Boston G.B.R, you would see that I covered it, because the citizens have a right to know. After all, you pay taxes and are not a form of government. Many of your children have served in the armed forces to preserve their rights to have a freedom of the press in Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and in the United States of America. And as you can see, the mattress is still here. Of course, the maggots and the hair is gone, but the scene is the same as it was when they found the man's body. Now, this is Valdosta, Georgia, Titletown, USA, a city without limits. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to report it again. I'm going to keep on reporting it, because I want you to know that when you contact your elected officials here in Valdosta, if you go before city council or county commissioners, it's just sad, y'all. It's really sad. Once again, Mr. Wayup was found right there on the 29th of March, 2019. The neighbor across the street told me that he had been in here dead for approximately 2 weeks. He saw vultures over the hedgery, and he called 911, and the rest is history. Once again, this is the Get To Free Press. I'm George Boston RHYNES, and I can't understand why somebody have not done something to clean this up. Now, let me tell you why, in my opinion. I'm not elected official. Nobody elected me to office. Here's why I think this needs to be cleaned up by somebody. Because somebody else would come right here, a homeless person, and make their bed or their home right in here. Now, if they would have removed the chair, somebody got the bike, and if they removed this, then just maybe a person would not make a home here. But I can guarantee you, almost guarantee you that eventually some homeless person gonna come right back here because there's a mattress. See it right there? They probably won't know that a man died there, because after all, if the news media don't tell the people, and if they don't watch my channel, they'll never know. Once again, I came out here on the 29th. I've been back about 5 times. I talked to an elected official here in Valdosta, and I'm sure she notified the mayor and council, but yet and still, as well as the police department. I was here when the police removed that young white Caucasian man's body. But then again, who cares anymore? We fight the wars of this nation. We elect people to public office. Well, then again, we in Valdosta, Georgia, a city without limits, and who cares?
Mr. RHYNES, I would directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple, because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government, and see our department heads and our city manager and our assistant city manager go directly to those complainants, and that process of the citizens be heard and speak directly to them about that problem. That problem can't always be solved, but they're getting a direct response, an immediate response. I'll see it in the parking lot, but most of the time I see them right here, getting that face-to-face time. So that is something that has been just one of my favorites for 4 years. Second is a letter to the individual. If there's any citizens here, please go forward.
My name is Grace Bacon. I live at 1008 Holly Drive, Valdosta, Georgia. I have been here many times with you all talking about the situation on my street. It was at 710, but now this person has taken 3 houses. He doesn't have enough room to park all the cars, so he's putting them at 3 houses now. He's selling drugs. He's got prostitution. He's letting people use restrooms in the streets. People are being taken out all night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. They're bringing in busloads of immigrants, and you all won't do anything. This man sells drugs. He got more for Walmart than most people get, because people are swapping things. This is nothing but racist. If this was any other street in Valdosta, you all would not allow 3 houses on one street to be this. I called the police. I talked to the city marshal. I called him. I said, come on down. The man is using the restroom in the street. Come on down. We have children. People are lined up, ready to buy drugs. 3 houses. They coming in on bikes. They coming in cars. Big fancy cars from Florida. Trucks from Florida. Everything is moving on. But we'll allow out to come. No. The city marshal said, oh, we can't do anything. You all don't have orders. You all don't have orders. Talking about the black race. The police department is not the only one messed up. Our communities are messed up because you all won't do anything. Because we are black. And I don't understand, my black council, how you all can sit here and allow this to go on. And everybody in this room know they do it. Black people do. Police officers do. City marshal knows it. I called Teresa Turner. I called Valdosta Daily Time. I called the chief of police. I talked to the commander last week. I'm gonna get back to you before the end of this week. Last week she didn't call. This week she didn't call. You all tell me this. Why is it you want your wives and daughters safe, but I'm not safe? He's making drugs in his backyard. He smell it all night long. Stepping off the alarm system. Because he's got all these bikes and motorcycles going up and down. Where is the police? Where? They are doing it. He's up now, they're gonna report this month, and he's got work. What is the city council doing for black people? You all don't care about black people.
For that purpose, we will follow up. You have my promise.
All right. Has anyone come out? Has anyone come out and the marshals, the police, when you call, has anything been done?
Eric, you follow up with
Yes,
this
she
at a
told
later
us down
date.
there, she told me to call her. And I called her. I called the city marshal, they ain't even return the phone call. I called when you text me. I called the governor. I called everybody. I called North Paris. I called everybody. No one will call. A policeman does not even drive down my street. Not at all.
Ma'am? I think that's something we need to.
We'll work on it. I agree. I agree
You don't
fully
say
with
that
you.
every time, you know.
We fully
She
agree.
heard her about several times over the years.
You've heard it happen.
But this issue we have with some places, and they come up and complain, we complain to the manager, complain to everybody else. They say they hate me tired. I don't understand.
I don't understand.
But I still tired with it.
It has to be raised. It can't be.
She been about several times, same thing.
Council. Mr. RHYNES, I'm going to directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple, because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government, and see our department heads and our city manager and our assistant city manager go directly to those complainants and that process of the citizens be heard. And are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Hello, my name is Gracie Bacon. I live at 708 Holly Drive. I haven't been here in a while. It's not because my street is any better. It's worse. We got 3 houses there that are automobiles, and you can't say anymore. I can't see it because it's in the backyard. It's not, because all the hedges and the trees and everything else been cut down, so you can see it just fine. You don't even have to get out of your car. You don't even have to do them a stop. You don't even have to stop. Just drive by. Those 3 houses are filled with all kinds of cars, tractors, washing machines, drivers, lawnmowers, everything. You don't need to get out your car. So you don't have to worry about getting out of the car in the back black neighborhood. All you got to do is drive. Now, the city marshal, one of your city marshals down there, May the 3rd, talking with that man, and I don't know what he said to him, but I could see him, but I couldn't hear him. All I know is I paid for it that night. Whatever he said to him, I'm the one that paid for it. But I had to stay up all night. Because he decided at that time, between 12 and 3 o'clock in the morning, to move all of those cars from one side of the street to another on the flatbed. And you can imagine what that thing was like, how loud it was trying to move those cars. Not only the moving of those cars, but all the lights. Now, you usually see a lot of lights when the police are down there. Well, I promise you, he had more lights than any police officer ever had. Because they would light up my whole house. And so you all don't need to sit here and say, we can't look in the backyard. You can't say you didn't know. You can say, I don't care. Because this is a black neighborhood. But you all, if we don't pay our taxes, You're the first one to send us a notice. And a friend of mine got a letter from the city, and she had one car in New York, and she had to move that car by March 12th, or pay $1,000. This person has 40 or 50 or 100 cars. Do you charge him $1,000 per car like you did her? She had to move that car by March the 12th. Now, like I told you, the city marshal was down there on May 3rd. And if you know what May 3rd is, the 3rd of any month for people, May 3rd is payday. For a lot of people, that's payday. So we done had city marshals down there the 3rd and 4th. We didn't got none today. Because you can see it from my house. So a lot more going on than you all know about.
Thank you, Ms. Becky. Are there any other citizens? Mr. RHYNES. I would directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple. Because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government, and see our department heads and our city manager and our assistant city manager go directly to those complainants, and that process of the citizens be heard, and citizens wish to be heard at this time.
George Boston Ryans, 5004, Valdosta, Georgia. I'm a little social media guy and been through 20 cities and others across the state of Georgia, trying to make living conditions better by reporting the news that others ignore. I've been complaining for the last 9 years about the Georgia state flag not being displayed in honor of members of our armed forces. And that's a problem to me, and it should be a problem to all veterans who serve this country, seeing that we are home to Moot Air Force Base. But be that as it may, I don't know if you all heard about the coroner caused an accident on North Valdosta Road and Country Club. I was called from someone that works at the police department. Then I received 3 other calls, and I was also given an email where the chief of police made her findings about it. I'm not going to get in it, I'm not going to call his name. But my thing is that I've been saying for years, there's so many things that never reach the newspaper, the TV, and radio stations. And I'm not going to say it's a disgrace, but we who wore that uniform to protect and preserve our rights that's guaranteed by the documents of this country, it is indeed a disgrace, in my opinion. Then I found out a few days ago that on the Board of Elections website, and I'm sure that all of you elected officials already know about it. The reason I don't know is because I guess I've been living the life of an ostrich. I had my head in the hole, buried. But I found out that Valdosta and Lowndes County is what they call the capital of the South. Now, if Valdosta is the capital of the South Georgia, is there a capital for West Georgia? And is there a capital for East Georgia? And is there a capital for North Georgia? And with not flying the Georgia state flag, is there another agenda that some of us don't know about? And the American people had better wake up, because something is happening in this country. And as a retired military veteran, I believe that we need to stand up for the rights that are guaranteed by the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. And if nobody else in Valdosta want the veterans and active duty people respected by flying the state flag as in all other states, counties, and cities, you can mark me as one that will never take down. Thank you.
I think Mr. RHYNES, I would directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple, because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government, and see our department heads and our city manager and our assistant city manager go directly to those complainants, and that process of the citizens be heard.
Don't we have our state flag flying at our public buildings ourselves?
We actually do. And displayed in the mayor's office as well.
And the only location that's not flying is, from what I gather, is the Valdosta County courthouse, which is underneath the Valdosta County.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So the commissioners need to be addressed, right?
Correct.
Because, just want to make that clear.
And we're all citizens of Valdosta County, so I hear it loud and clear, but yes, it's out of our hands to that point. We should probably stand in front of them and say the same, George. And thank you. Any other county? Mr. RHYNES, I would directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple, because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government and see our department head.
My name is Barbara Dye. I stay at 704 East Brookwood Place. And I come to you today as a concerned citizen, a taxpayer, and a property owner. I, like Mr. Wright, I've already talked with Mr. Collins, and I got very good response from him earlier before the meeting. But I come also to say it's been like almost 3 years now that we've been fighting to try to get these sidewalks. And the last time that I came here, it was told they were going to be done by July. Okay, July came and gone, we still didn't have any sidewalks. So at that time, Mr. Von Shipman was in there, and I was there talking to him. It was a promise they were going to be done by December. December came and gone, we still don't have any sidewalks. And he said they had to get another engineer, redid it from the south side to the north side. And to me, it seems like no one is a man of their word. Now, what I do now, I have to wait on Mr. Collins because everybody's a very fair chance, you know, and I'm taking him at his word that we will get some sidewalks. But I want to know what's taking so long in our area to get sidewalks. That's it.
Thank you very much. We'll get back to you.
Mr. RHYNES, I would directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple, because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government and see our department head. Are there any other citizens to be heard?
Good evening. My name is Gracie Baker. I live at 708 Holly Drive. And I have complained about the situation on Holly Drive. I met with Mr. G.B.R. and I met with Ms. Foley. And people over here knows me also. So Mr. G.B.R. came to my house. And I have talked over the situation on Holly Drive. I don't want anybody to move off Holly Drive. I just don't like the behavior. I just want, my property value has dropped $10,000. I got my tax statement the other day, and I looked at that, and that hurt me so bad. Because even though you have to pay more money, but more land you have, I'd rather pay the money, the taxes, than lose the value. I lost the value. You know, I used to pay $1,000 and some taxes. I'm paying $770 some taxes. Because I've lost value. And I wish that when we lived in a house, that when people came into our neighborhood, they would just look at our house and say, oh, that's a nice house, I would like to buy in this neighborhood. But that's not the way it works for people. Real estate says everything around you counts. And if you saw one house messes up, it's just like every house on that street is messed up. Now, I'm not a real estate manager or anything like that. There's just a lot of common sense to me. That you don't keep up your property, you're going to lose value. And I heard Mr. Howard say the other day that he can take these people into neighborhoods and say, why don't you all build your businesses here or down here? Well, they don't build their businesses because they're looking at the neighborhood. And that's just common sense, because if I owned a business, I wouldn't build it on Holly Drive. Because if you look around you and saw that the property value dropping, you would think everybody else but you. And I just wanna say, when you came down, you got started. And I appreciate that. I mean, you were respectful and everything. But this has been going on for many, many years. For anybody who can know, all I wanna do is clean up, get that neighborhood to what it was 30 years ago when it was so beautiful. That's why I bought, because it was so beautiful. It's not beautiful anymore. And if you know anything about, I own my home, I pay for it. When you pay for something, you just wanna just keep it up, that's all. But boy, if you wanna hurt anybody, I don't wanna do that.
Ms. Bacon, thank you.
Mr. RHYNES, I would directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple. Because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government. And see our department heads and our city manager and our assistant city manager go directly to those complainants and that process of the citizens be heard and
Any other citizens be heard?
Good afternoon, all the people here. My name is Elizabeth Horton. My sister is Grace Beckett. She preceded me. And I know what she's going through because I'm a witness. And I spend a lot of time at her house, not just as my sister, just as a visitor, but as a person who lived there. And I saw what was going on that street. And as I told her, you are the only one on the street that speaks up and speaks to the people and speaks to all the necessary people that's concerned. Let them know what's going on the street. Things have gotten a little better in the last few days, but there's been a deterioration. What is proceeding in front of her house is now going around the block and enter in another direction. Now, I pray that things change, because I saw some strange things going on there. Unfortunately, I saw some of our policemen parked in front of the house across the street opposite of my sister. And I saw the policemen standing on the leaning along the car, having a good time with the neighbors. There were about 10 or 15 cars parked right directly at this person's house. And there was a lot of activity going on. And that's not the first time. That's why I know somebody is giving certain privilege to operate there illegally. I don't know what's going on there and how long it's been going on. But I saw some strange things. Now, I live at 1601 Norman Drive, Chase Apartments. I've been here in Jersey now for 6 years. And 6 years, I've been at my sister's house on and off. And I know what's going on. Now, I feel for some of the people on that street, because where I come from, when you see strange things going on, wait, disaster is on its way. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens to be heard?
Mr. RHYNES, I would directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple. Because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government and see our department head.
We'll now move on to item 7, citizens to be heard. Citizens to be heard portion of this meeting, we ask that you come forward, state your name and address so we may have that for the record. Our policy requires that you stay under 3 minutes. So others have time to be heard. Please direct all comments to council as a whole. Do not attempt to engage individual members of council in debate. It's our council policy to follow through with you on your concerns. Additionally, we ask that any groups that want to address the council designate one spokesperson to represent the group and their comments. And we'll ensure that others have time to be heard. And having said that, would anybody like to step forward? Please state your name and address.
Greetings.
then the board failed. I'm here to say that I was on the board for 10 years. I enjoy working for the city of Valdosta. I have been here for 50 years. I'm a mover and a shaker. I don't believe that the pandemic is that him. I don't like staying home. I like down in the community. I was fortunate enough to work for a company that allowed me to control the foundation. The foundation provided $6 million. Are you listening? $6 million for the area of Valdosta while I controlled the board for 25 years. I controlled the foundation spending in Valdosta. I'm proud of that. What we did, one of the first things we did was put pool as outside recreation, pool at the Boys and Girls Club. Our charter plane took 25 students from Valdosta to Salt Lake City, Utah, along with a total of 120 people from Georgia to the International Olympics. Now, we also spent funding from the Valdosta to create a haven in Valdosta. That proves I'm a mover and a shaker. I don't have time to list all the grants that we did, but I'm here to say that Valdosta has benefited from the work of this organization that's in question. I know it has been defunded. I know if you want to do this, you can find a way, because you can go and get the money that the city takes out of my check for recycling, and they're not doing it. Now, every citizen is doing the same thing. That's the way it begins. Whatever way you want to do it, if you make up your mind, I am for this, you will find a way, just like I did. Instead of going on a trip, I may take that money and go buy something I want, because I decided I want to do that. Now, this time, I want to thank you first for what all of you do for our students. We have a good counselors. I appreciate everyone that did what you're trying to do. You get prayed for twice a day at my house, twice a day. I am thankful that I have been associated with the ALBD for the 20 years, almost 20 years. I have attended every meeting in every of the 20 years except one. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, doing something else, trying to accomplish something else when we had that event. Who else can say that? Nobody. But I've been there, I've supported it, because I helped to bring it here. Now, I know it's within your power. So find a way if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. So it's up to you. I can spend 30 minutes talking about the things that Valdosta had been approved to get through the organization with whom I work. But that takes up all my 3 minutes. I'm more than my 3 minutes. I want you to consider funding. This is what I'm asking you, 2 things. I want you to change the name. Keep Valdosta beautiful. Not keep Valdosta. Valdosta is not funny. Keep Valdosta beautiful. And I want you to have funding. I want you to fund it. You can do it. You can look at your budget. I don't work for budget, but I'm able to look and stuff. I don't work for budget, but you have to. I won't follow the budget and see how you spend the money. I've never done that, but I will watch and see how you spend the money. And I'm going to see where you can take $1,000 from this place, $1,000 from that, and come up with $60,000. It can be done if you want to do it, if you don't want to do it. Now, if I didn't want to come to this meeting, I couldn't have found a way to get here, because I'm doing something else. But when we want to do something, we can have, I'm going to thank you for what you're going to do in a positive manner. Thank you.
You're welcome, Ms. Goody. We love you and we worship the ground that you walk on. And happy 98th birthday. We don't get to wish you that in person. All right. That was an impassioned plea. I'm going to allow another 3 minutes on that same subject if somebody wanted to come up and speak as such. Citizens be heard.
Mr. Council. other stuff. She's black. You all may not feel her pain. I feel her pain like I feel when I go across the state of Georgia and see the other mistreated citizens. And the news media will not cover their stories. What have you seen in the local press about this young lady's problems? What have you read in the Valdosta Daily Times about her problems? If this lady gets hurt, or her family is concerned about her, and I know that when I visit, what will you all say? Now, this is nothing new about the press in Valdosta ignoring the real issues in the black community. Not too many years ago, Florida Rose had a Caucasian threat room at J.C. Jack Bowling Place. No news media coverage. A white homeless man was found dead in the Kedgewood here for over 2 weeks. No coverage. Black police officer committed suicide here. I visited Chief Childress in the Valdosta Daily Times. No news media coverage. 14 years ago, a black girl at Pine Grove Middle School was hog-tied, thrown down, face down, all charges dropped against her, no news media coverage. I watched the mother and father go to the TV station newspapers. That's what news for the white community and those who control the press here. I've been on the criminal trespass here, following the death of Kennedy Johnson on the criminal trespass. Valdosta Daily Times haven't printed one word about it. No news media said anything about it. I'm still under it. West Taylor and former Sheriff Brian lied on me. But I still stand as a soldier. And that I'm like her, I don't quit. I'm like the baby kids we just don't play. $85 million school built out here. Black and white contractors fought black heaven and hell. The people, what they said was ignored by the local press. 5 years about no flag in city and county governments here. No news media. 1860 disgraceful charter posted right out here. I had it removed after a long fight. No news media coverage. 15 citizens was arrested in the process of getting Bible Park named. Make it long story short, my time out there. We got a bad situation here, y'all. And the news media is part of the problem. Now, Mr. Mayor and Council, and other councilmen, I know I'm on my time. Out of courtesy, allow me to name, please. George. When you all, I noticed that lady is 90-some years old, and I commend her. But you better watch what you're doing. Better watch it. You see, when you...
George, please.
Please what?
Time's up.
A big part?
Time's up. We'll see you next council meeting. Thank you.
You gave her more than 3 minutes on council. You on the council, got to take notice.
Thank you, George. Any other citizens to be heard at this time?
Be bad at what you're doing, Mayor. When you all, I noticed that lady is 90-some years old, and I commend her. But you better watch what you're doing. Better watch it. You see, when you...
George, please.
Please what?
Time's up.
A big part?
Time's up. We'll see you next council meeting. Thank you.
You gave her more than 3 minutes on council. You on the council, got to take notice.
Thank you, George. Any other citizens to be heard at this time?
Be bad at what you're doing, Mayor. Better watch it. You see, when you...
George, please.
Please what?
Time's up.
A big part?
Time's up. We'll see you next council meeting. Thank you.
You gave her more than 3 minutes on council. You on the council, got to take notice.
Thank you, George. Any other citizens to be heard at this time?
Be bad at what you're doing, Mayor.
So I'm going to leave it up to George. George is wanting the same time as a 98-year-old woman. George, if you want an additional 2 minutes, I'll invite you back up. If you want to bow, and I'll...
Mr. Mayor, I'm a man of peace and harmony, and peace and harmony being strength of all institutions. I just reminded the council that I go in a lot of cities, and I've seen people get paid $45,000 for less. That's all I'm doing. I don't need time.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Right. Mr. RHYNES, I would directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple, because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government, and see our department heads and our city manager and our assistant city manager go directly to those complainants and that process of the citizens be heard and speak directly to them about that problem. That problem can't always be solved, but they're getting a direct response.
This is to get to Free Press. I'm George Oscar Rhines. Andrew A. Gibbs said that this is a county problem. They have flags flying in the city, and that is a county problem. Well, if you know, I'm the one that insisted that the city put a flag out outside of this building because they didn't have one. The city schools didn't have one, and I am the one who insisted that they put it up, and eventually they put it up. Now, some of the county people assisted me in helping the city to put their flags up, and so it seems to me that city elected officials should be concerned about the image of the city of Valdosta, because the courthouse is in the city limits of Valdosta. So it seemed to me that our elected officials from both agencies, the county and the city, should be concerned about the negative images that our beloved city gets because we home the Moody Air Force Base. That is in the county. But people from the city also shop in the county. They come to the county. They go to the county courthouse. And so it's just amazing to me how and what's going on here. It seems like I'm not here to point no fingers. All I want is the flags to go up, just like other cities and counties and states in the United States, and as the city did after a period of time. Now, for all of you all watching, this is the Get To Free Press, and I'm George Oscar Rhines. I'm going to try to get a comment from Mr. Gibbs, Councilman Gibbs.
My generation, Vietnam era, was disrespected substantially, and it's a sad thing that it happened. But I'm really glad to see that the way Americans generally perceive the servicemen and women, and how their service is appreciated today.
Okay. Thank you. You're very welcome.
Someone please stop moving. I'm not gonna say your name. What's it mean? You know, ma'am. Thank you. I know.
Councilman Gibbs. Councilman Gibbs. How you doing today? All right. You made a statement concerning my presentation, and what you said is very powerful, and it is indeed true. The city did not fly the state flag, but I kept being persistent, and you all finally did. Okay? Yep. But I had people from the county who assisted me in getting certain people to get the flag up in the city. So when I addressed the council as well as the county, my thing is that I was hoping that we could work collectively, that I talked to the mayor about, that we all can work together, because the city is in the county, and we all can assist to make this a better place. I didn't mean to throw any curves, but I do think that all of us should be concerned about the image in both the city and the county, and this is why I asked elected officials from the city and county. I've been before the county commissioners meeting, and I've been up to the state of Georgia. It's not up to the state, but the state officials, and I've addressed it with many people. And I wish that the people that sit on this council will see that somebody such as myself, retired veteran, care enough about the men and women in uniform that they would assist me, because you all may have a better relationship with some of those people in the county, that maybe we can get the flag up, that it will put a better light on our local community.
And I agree with you on that, but the problem I have though is that each time you come up here, you only address it as one side, like you did tonight. And you got people in the audience that are going to assume and insinuate that the city doesn't have the state flag flying on their buildings. They're not thinking county because they're in the city council meeting. So if you had said what you just said tonight, to say, hey, I've talked to the county, I'm asking y'all to please reach out to the county. I've talked to the mayor. I want this to be a joint. That's a whole different story than what you normally come up here and say. And that's why I wanted to make sure that the people in the audience knew that, hey, we're flying the state flag. We're flying the U.S. flag. It's being flown at all our city buildings. But when it comes to the county building, and I've talked to some of the commissioners, I told one about a month ago, the last time you came to talk, and I said, hey, y'all really might need to think about putting the state flag up at y'all's county courthouse. And he said, yeah, he said, it's been brought to our attention. So at the end of the day, though, we can't make them. I mean, I can't walk in there and go hang a flag. I mean, but I did talk to them. I have talked to them. I have spoken to them. But what I just want to make sure is that people who are sitting in the audience realizes that, you know, if you came up and said, hey, the city of Valdosta, I know, is flying all the state flags and all the others, and I understand that they are. But right down the road at the county courthouse, they're not. And I need y'all's help to help me get a flag there. That's different than how you address it. So I just want to make sure people in the audience know that we as a city are doing it.
Councilman Gibbs, we are live on Facebook, and I'm going to leave what you said the way it is. I'm not going to come on you.
That's fine.
But what I'm saying is that I've been doing this for about 9 years. It took me a long time. It took me a long time to get the city. It took me a long time for the city. It took me a long time to get the city. It took me a long time to get the city to put them up. And I appreciate that. And I do have some other locations in the city that but I'm not going to mention it. No, I'm not going to do it here. And I want to thank you.
What I mean,
and I want to thank you. And I want to
let us know this, or at least let us know as far as council members, because if there is other locations, we'll document it and get a state flag up. But if we don't know the locations, like I've been on council for 5 years, and you have not once come up and said, hey, to the council, these are the other 3 locations or 5 locations that I would like to see a state flag on. Not one time.
We are live on Facebook, and I'm not going to address that, but I can produce videos. I can do that. But here again.
Now, you said 9 years ago I hadn't been on council.
No. I'm talking before then. Hey, thank you very much for your comment.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Each time you come up here, you only address it as one side.
I'm a social media guy, and, you know, been through 20 cities and others across the state of Georgia, trying to make living conditions better by reporting the news that others ignore. I've been complaining for the last 9 years about the Georgia state flag not being displayed in honor of members of our armed forces. And that's a problem to me, and it should be a problem to all veterans who serve this country, seeing that we are home to Moot Air Force Base. Be that as it may,
I agree with you on that, but the problem I have though is that each time you come up here, you only address it as one side, like you did tonight. And you
been complaining for the last 9 years about the Georgia state flag not being displayed in honor of members of our armed forces. And that's a problem to me, and it should be a problem to all veterans who serve this country, seeing that we are home to Moody Air Force Base.
A long time
My
for
dad
the
and my
city.
four uncles served in the military.
It took me a long time to get the city.
All that.
It took me a long time to get the city to put them up. And
I appreciate that.
And I do have some other locations in the city that but I'm not going to mention it.
No, you need to let us
No, I'm not going to do it here. I want to thank you.
But what I mean
and I want to thank you.
You need to let us know this, or at least let us know as far as council members, because if there is local locations, we'll document it and get a state flag up. But if we don't know the locations, like I've been on council for 5 years, and you have not once come up and said, hey, to the council, these are the other 3 locations or 5 locations that I would like to see a state flag on. Not one time.
We are live on Facebook, and I'm not going to address that, but I can produce videos. I can do that. But here again.
Now, you said 9 years ago, I had been on council.
No. I'm talking. Hey, thank you very much for your comments.
Yes, thank you.
Ghetto Free, you all heard, that's Councilman Gibbs. He is a little different on a lot of issues. He was against the renaming of Barack Obama Boulevard. He was against that name change. But we understand that sometimes it be that way. But we are going to continue to address all elected officials, and whatever is good for the city is good for the county, because the city is in the county. And I do believe that if the city and county can work together, I do believe that we can produce a better community. And this is why I'm going to continue to talk about the city and the county to try to make it a better place, so when people come from out of town, they won't say, well, it seems like Valdosta is 50 years behind the times. And I'm going to continue to do that. We all know, you have seen each councilman. Let me go show you. Each council member up here, you about know what they all stand for and what they have fought for. But I will say that we thank them all for serving, because I never served. But these are your councilmen.
It's just a little bit of problems going on here. I don't understand because some of the houses was sold like
and when they were getting ready to try to rename Forest Street to Barack Obama Boulevard, and that was a long, drawn-out process. But the historical archival record will speak for itself. Nobody's criticized, nobody's condemned, but the record speaks for itself. And this is the Get To Free Press, and I'm George Foster RHYNES, and I'm hoping that the mayor, I'm hoping that Councilman Gibbs, Councilman McIntyre, Councilman Tooley, Councilman Howard, Attorney Tanner, but not Tanner, I'll excuse Tanner, but surely Mayor Matheson, Hardy, Carroll, Norton, and Cody, if they can, and if they have any camaraderie with the people of the county, talk to them. Don't let me be the only one talking, because I'm talking on behalf of the citizens here that should care about the men and women stationed at Moody Air Force Base. And they come to the courthouse in the city of Valdosta, and there is no Georgia state flag to honor them in their service, their mothers and their fathers. Here in the courthouse, they have both flags, and I thought, like, you know what, to get them to put one over the city hall and all these other places, including the Rainwater Conference Center, which they still don't have one, and a lot of other places here in the city. It's the county, but the fact is, all these areas are in the city limits of Valdosta, and it casts a southern shadow over our beloved community. As a veteran, retired at 21 years, I thank God that somebody cares enough to think outside of the box of incarceration and indoctrination. Now, you all heard. Anyway, y'all have a nice day. Bye-bye. Peace be unto each of you. I talk like this because I love you. If we had the majors and the colonels and the generals that live here, why is it that they cannot see that this is going on? And did you all know that Valdosta, Laurens County
is the capital of South Georgia. Did you all know that? Did you know that somebody called Valdosta and Lyles County the capital of South Georgia? That means somebody may be working to get a capital for East Georgia, for West Georgia, and just maybe North Georgia. Y'all better wake up. Y'all don't believe that this government can be endangered. You better wake up. Your relative, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, and your children served under the Georgia flag, and you went on foreign battlefields. Y'all better wake up. And wake up one morning and it won't be a South Georgia capital. They would have gotten this thing together. Y'all better wake up. Bye-bye. We're done. Social media guy, and been through 20 cities and others across the state of Georgia, trying to make living conditions better by reporting the news that others ignore. I've been complaining for the last 9 years about the Georgia state flag not being displayed in honor of members of our armed forces. And that's a problem to me, and should be a problem to all veterans who serve this country, seeing that we are home to Moody Air Force Base. Be that as it may, I don't know if you all heard about the coroner caused an accident on North Valdosta Road and Country Club. I was called from someone that works at the police department. Then I received 3 other calls, and I was also given an email where the chief of police made her findings about it. I'm not going to get in it, I'm not going to call his name. But my thing...
intersection of Country Club and North Valdosta Road, in reference to an accident with injuries. When they arrived on the scene, the entire intersection was a mess with debris everywhere and one guy lying on the ground, complaining of injuries. One of the drivers involved in the accident was Austin Fibash, the Lowndes County coroner. I have watched the body cameras from our officers involved. When our officers arrived on the scene, they spoke with Austin and his passenger, who were outside of their truck. Austin told the officer that he had hit his head and neck, and that he wanted EMS to check him out, and he was going to have them transport him to the hospital. The passenger told the officer that he was all right. The officer that spoke with Austin and his passenger stated, on body cam, that he smelled alcohol coming from the passenger, but he did not smell any on Austin. Through investigation, our officers determined that Austin was at fault for failure to yield. While our officer was running Austin's information in his car, Austin was transported by ambulance to the hospital. Our officer
officer went to issue Austin a citation, that is when he found out that Austin had been transported to the hospital. Our officer arrived at the hospital to issue him a ticket, and they could not find him. When Austin arrived at the hospital, he did not stay to be treated, he walked out the front door. Our officers were looking for Austin, and finally located him at 10:25 p.m., 2 hours later, at the bar Austin owns, the G.B.R on Baytree Road. Our officers on the scene did not know who Austin was, meaning that they did not know he was the coroner. It wasn't until the patrol officer that could not find him at the hospital and called his supervisor, that the supervisor recognized the name and knew who he was. I was called Friday night at 9:32 by our shift captain, who did not go to the accident scene, and told that Austin had left the scene and that he may have been drinking. I told them that if they found him and he was under the influence, that he needed to be arrested just like anyone else. When they found him 2 hours after the wreck, and he was at his bar, they can no longer investigate him for DUI. He was issued citations for failure to yield and no license on person. At no time on scene of the accident did any of our officers identify that Austin was under the influence of alcohol. On the accident, there were many first responders dealing with injuries, and at no time did anyone on scene indicate that Austin was under the influence. Leslie Manahan, Chief of Police, Valdosta Police Department, Georgia, 229-293-3101. Manahan at valdostacity.com. Mailto, Manahan at valdostacity.com.
Thing is that I've been saying for years, there's so many things that never reach the newspaper, the TV, and radio stations. And I'm not going to say it's a disgrace, but we who wore that uniform to protect and preserve our rights that's guaranteed by the documents of this country. It is indeed a disgrace, in my opinion. And then I found out a few days ago that on the Board of Elections website, and I'm sure that all of you elected officials already know about it. The reason I don't know is because I guess I've been living the life of an ostrich. I had my head in the hole, buried. But I found out that Valdosta in Lowndes County is what they call the capital of the South. Now, if Valdosta is the capital of the South Georgia, is there a capital for West Georgia? And is there a capital for East Georgia? And is there a capital for North Georgia? And with not flying the Georgia state flag, is there another agenda that some of us don't know about? And American people had better wake up, because something is happening in this country. And as a retired military veteran, I believe that we need to stand up for the rights that are guaranteed by the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. If nobody else in Valdosta wants the veterans and active duty people respected by flying the state flag as in all other states, counties, and cities, you can mark me as one that will never take that. Thank you.
I've been on council for 5 years, and you have not once come up and said, hey, to the council, these are the other 3 locations or 5 locations that I would like to see a state flag on. Not one time.
We are live on Facebook, and I'm not going to address that, but I can produce videos. I can do that. But here again.
Now, you said 9 years ago I hadn't been on council.
No. I'm talking. Hey, thank you very much for your comments.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Up next affects the gameplay, as if the general public is ignorant concerning this traditional pattern and practice. Moreover, soon the ghetto-free press will be publishing the big video surrounding this 9-year-old flag issue after Georgia legislature replaced the old, said to be Georgia racist Confederate flag that were displayed everywhere, including over churches, and we maintained the historic pictures from years ago. God bless everybody. St. John 8:32, Joel 2 verse 1. G.B.R.
Mayor, don't we have our state flag flying at our public buildings ourselves? We actually do. And it's in the mayor's office as well. And the only location that's not flying is, from what I gather, is the Mounds County Courthouse, which is already the Mounds County. Correct. Right? Correct. So the commissioners need to be addressed, right? Correct. Because it's one way to clear.
And we're all citizens of Miles County, so I hear it loud and clear, but yes, it's out of our hands to that. We should probably stand up and say the same, George. And thank you.
Regardless of who is responsible for displaying the Georgia state flag after 9 years and after comments from Valdosta Historic City Councilman Andrew A. Gibbs on March 9, 2023, truth still speaks for itself. Yes, members of our armed forces should be honored and respected, especially since Valdosta Lowndes County is home to Moody Air Force Base and America Battlefield Airmen, whose lives are on the line in foreign nations of the world, and should be respected and honored. G.B.R. St. John 8:32, Joel 2 verse 1.
Mr. RHYNES. I'm going to directly dispute Mr. RHYNES. One of my favorite things over the last 4 years is immediately following each council meeting, but thank you for going to retrieve that couple, because my favorite thing is to watch good government in action and a responsive government, and see our department heads and our city manager and our assistant city manager go directly to those complainants and that process of the citizens be heard and speak directly to them about that problem. That problem can't always be solved, but they're getting a direct response at a meeting.
So I'm going to leave it up to George. George is one at the same time as a 98-year-old woman. George, if you want an additional 2 minutes, I'll invite you back up. If you want to bow,
The night where he's in Judah asleep. I wonder who will wake him, bring him to his feet. Speak now or forever hold your peace. The night where he's in Judah asleep. I wonder who will wake him, bring him to his feet. Speak now or forever hold your peace. a lion where he's in Judah asleep. I wonder who will wake him, bring him to his feet. Speak now or forever hold your peace. There's a lion where he's in Judah asleep. I wonder who will wake him, bring him to his feet. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
So I'll be leaving up to George. George is wanting the same time as a 98-year-old woman. George, if you want an additional 2 minutes, I'll invite you back up. If you want to bow, and I'll.
Mr. Mayor, I'm a man of peace and harmony, and peace and harmony being strength in all institutions. I just reminded the council that I go in a lot of cities, and I've seen people get paid $45,000 for this. That's all I'm doing. I don't need time. Go ahead.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Yo, if I had 100 sheep and one of them got away, I would leave the 99 and go find that one.